My name is Paul Zyburski, and I am introducing my nonfiction novel, a true crime story, From Pepperdine to Prison, the life of a courtroom fixer. This nonfiction novel is based on my own personal experience with police brutality and corruption, political corruption, judicial misconduct, prosecution misconduct, and the politicians that you elect that are living it up at your expense. Judges and prosecutors are in fact politicians. Politicians love to spend your money. Now, this is not a book necessarily about me or my memoirs, or I'm really not that important. This is a book for you, the law-abiding, tax-paying citizen, predominantly the lower class people that haven't had a voice in government, the middle class people that just go about their business, paying their taxes and electing these clowns in the office. And the reason is very simple. 9 out of 10 people that pull that lever and put these people in the office have no reason to come into contact with the courts, the prosecutor, or these lower level politicians. I can only use Metro Detroit as an example because it's just one of the first to get hit by the FBI. Every level, every elementary position of our government has been corrupted. In Macomb County, we've only had 2 prosecutors in the last 30 years, both federally indicted. Our mayor, federally indicted, sentenced to 28 years in federal prison. Our chief of police, drug smuggling, embezzlement. Our sheriff, rape. Not every councilmen, treasurers, director of public works. Every single element of our government has been corrupted. Every single position is either in or on their way to federal prison. And I explain in this book the reason why. And I sat silent for 30 years and bore witness to bribery, kickbacks, payoffs, play-to-pay schemes, and I said nothing. I now own the right to break this code of silence in the interest of educating the public of what they pay for and what goes on and how you are directly affected by this behavior. Let's just take it in sections. For instance, police brutality. Most people think it does not affect them and they want a safe community, and I understand that. But in the last 2 years in this country, you've paid over $500 million each year in police brutality lawsuits. In the political corruption, I couldn't even put a number on it from the things I've seen. And now I understand I'm just the first person with enough balls to write on judicial misconduct. I became a very close member in the inner circles in the most corrupt county in the United States, basically using the Motor City Mafia as a stepping stone and a trusted member in this community. Listen, I hold the record in the state of Michigan for the most cases thrown out of court. Not pled down, thrown out. Now, anytime you reach a superlative or number 1 in your field, it's for a reason. I'm no brilliant legal mind. I'm no brilliant lawyer. I mean, I wasn't a super lawyer. But I got the job done. And I explained on how I did it. It was all under the color of law. There's nothing illegal about it. However, I may have meandered some ethical boundaries under the Michigan rules of professional conduct, under the canon of ethics. However, ethics are easily deflected off judicial robes like a loose-fitting raincoat. Political corruption and its fallout. People think it doesn't affect them directly, but it does. You're paying their salaries. You're paying for all the cleanup. You're paying for this. And once they get in this position, they are double dipping, triple dipping, quadruple dipping at your expense. And I explain how a perk, how a dinner or a lunch or some baseball tickets can turn into a sense of entitlement. some of these judges in their courtroom see a guy like me with a jaded past, and oh yes, I got a jaded past. But they see me making money in their courtroom, and their sense of entitlement kicks in. And now the tax man cometh. Yeah, boy, the tax man cometh. I sat silent for 30 years, and now I'm willing to break that code of silence. I was schooled by gangsters from an early age, and I hung out with gangsters my whole life. That doesn't necessarily make me one. Maybe I'm an associate, but as far as being the consigliere, the third most powerful man in the mob, it's just a title somebody else gave me, and it started out as a joke. You know, I had a unique position where early on in my career, uh, my best friend was a mafia captain. Um, this I used mainly as a stepping stone to be a trusted member into their inner circles. And let me tell you something. Here's the main difference. When a drug dealer comes to you and says, "You give me 50,000, I'll make that into 100,000 in 6 months." Well, that you can understand. He's a drug dealer. And when a gangster comes to you and says, "You give me 50,000, I'll make it into 100,000 in some kind of Ponzi scheme," well, that you can understand. But when a judge and a policeman or police chief and a politician and these people in law enforcement and a prosecutor comes to you looking for drug money, well, that's a whole different scenario. And that's what I'm trying to expose. I'm trying to show you that it's more blatant here because it's Macomb County, Michigan, and it's labeled as the most corrupt county. And I'm privy to all kinds of information. Yes, I am, in fact, what I said on the news, a wealth of information. Some of that stuff I'll take to the grave with me. But no longer will I sit on it. Um, you know, I have the personal experience. I'm not the best person to write this book. I'm the only person. I mean, I didn't land on the policeman's pistol, man. The policeman's pistols landed on me. I didn't land on the judge's gavel, man. The judge's gavel landed on me. I mean, I did criminal defense law for 30 years. And when I say criminal, you don't associate it with rape artists and murderers, things like this. I'm talking about the average Joe who has one too many beers and gets behind the wheel. The single mother who has no choice but to drive with their children and gets charged with child endangerment because they got to get the kids to the soccer field. You know, I started this business $150,000 in debt, man. And, I was just there to help people that were less fortunate than the privileged life I led. I mean, here I was, a kid from the east side of Detroit with no money, and all of a sudden I'm going to Pepperdine University School of Law, the third most expensive law school in the country behind Stanford and Harvard. So, I felt like I had a privileged lifestyle, and I did. And my sole goal, when I got out of law school, I didn't care about being a lawyer, but my wife was pregnant, I had a child on the way, and I had to get a job. It's just that simple. I never thought I would make any money doing this. And I mean, when I started to make money, when I started to tap into the more affluent people, I mean, it became more of a joke to me. The amounts of money that were flying around were ridiculous. And I suffered from, omniophobia. It's like the definition of insanity, being a spendthrift. I thought it was, it was comical to me. But money, over time, all this stuff doesn't happen overnight. You slowly work your way in, you become a trusted member, and then you start to witness the real criminals. The judges, the ones that you put on a pedestal, they always got them chairs way high up so they can look down at you. The prosecutor, they're viewed by the public as having some higher moral fabric due to their illusory title. But they are in fact politicians, and they love to spend your money. When they give into their greed, they don't view the same world as you do. They have a sense of entitlement. And then the greed monster comes out. Now, I fueled the greed monster, and yes, I feel like Oscar Schindler. I'm a profiteer from all this hypocrisy and misery. Yet, I was upfront with my clients, and everybody was getting well at first. That's how it starts. And I wanted to share some of this information with you and how it affects you. This book, while it says my life, it's not my life story. It's only what I did for a couple hours a day to pay the bills. And I did pretty good at it.